Coming up on Central News, an inspiring young woman with a goal of world #1, aroha in action, and domestic cats, a huge problem on the beach. Kia ora, welcome to Central News for Tuesday the 11th of November. I'm Hilary Entwistle. Faith Van Duyn only started mixed martial arts 2.5 years ago, but now she is 4th in the world in the MMA's featherweight division. But she has another goal just around the corner. Now Faith, you're about to set off for America in December. What's that for?
It's for my debut fight in Invicta FC. It's one of the biggest women's MMA promotions in the world. So yeah, I'm the first in New Zealand to do so.
Wow, that's some pretty big expectation on your shoulder there.
A little bit.
So any professional sport is quite financially hard at times. How are you got to fundraise to get over to America?
I started fundraising. I do it all year round, so wherever I go I can take my team with me, and I got sponsorship from Mass Nutrition. They help with my supplements, and Colourworks help for my prints, and then we have GMP Guitars in America, they're helping as well, and for my fight gear I got Dragon Do, they fight sponsoring that, so yeah.
The training must be pretty intense leading up to the fight.
Yeah, definitely. I train at five different gyms, 3 times a day, 6 days a week. I train at TK Box and Hybrid MMA, which is out of the Martial Arts Academy, and Tauranga Judo Club, Warrior Muay Thai, and what's the other one? And Mount Marlin Wrestling Club. So it gets full on, and all the travelling around. Yeah.
So you train 3 times a day and raise 2 daughters as a single mother. How on earth do you do it all?
Support. I have a lot of support. My mum helps me a lot with the girls and home life, and I work for my brother and sister-in-law, and they help me work around my training schedules. If I need to leave early, turn up late, all the support I get is amazing.
So for those who don't know, what is MMA?
MMA is mixed martial arts. It's a fighting style where you can use all different disciplines and add them into your game, from striking to grappling, all techniques, from groundwork, stand-up work. Yeah, it's hard work. But, yeah.
I mean, if you've got all different types of mixed martial arts, that must mean a whole lot more training, a whole lot more of a skill set to learn.
Yeah, I've stepped up this training camp and added in boxing and judo and wrestling, so that's 3 on top of my other ones I was learning, so, and there's more out there that you can learn.
So with this type of fighting, because it's everything, are there any rules? Obviously you're not allowed to bite in any fighting, but but are there any other rules?
Yeah, there's the basic, like no groin shots or no headbutts, no hitting the back of the head, or knees and kicks to a grounded opponent, just normal rules. Yeah.
And no biting off ears?
No biting. No.
Right. And how did you actually get introduced to the world of MMA?
I had a friend that used to talk about it a lot, and he seemed excited and it seemed exciting. So I needed to do something to get fit, and yeah, I thought I'll give it a go and made some goals to go towards and show my daughters that with anything, like hard work and dedication, anything is possible. So yeah.
Because you only started 2.5 years ago. You're the first New Zealand woman to go fight in America in December at this particular tournament. How on earth did you climb so fast? 2.5 years. How did you get there?
Just determination. My mum said I was born with it, so yeah, I like to keep pushing as hard as I can to get to where I want to be. Yeah.
Because before you started, you actually said you wanted to be #1 in the world.
Yeah, I still got my email to the trainer that I wanted to be number one in the world and I'm at this weight and I want to do this, and yeah, before I even had my first lesson.
Because I mean, that's quite a big goal to have, and you're definitely on your way there. How did you acquire such a determined attitude?
It's in my blood, I think. Yeah, I get it from my mum is determined. Yeah, and she's taught me to go for what I need and what I want in my life. Yeah.
So do you have any advice then for others who might be setting out on not just a fighting career, but their own kind of journey in health and fitness with such a determined attitude?
Just to keep motivated, find something that will push you and never give up. Just keep going. And if you do start giving up, talk to someone that inspires you, I suppose. Yeah.
Who inspires you?
My girls, my daughters, yeah.
So they're pretty proud of their mum then?
Yeah, they definitely am. They want to fight, but I don't want them to. It's too scary.
If you'd like to support Faith and help her get to the States, you can do so by emailing faithvd@hotmail.co.nz. Coming up next, Aroha in action. Welcome back to Central News. Family violence is a serious issue that affects many New Zealanders. Rachel Harrison from Thames is involved with a project this year called Aroha in Action. It's aiming to raise awareness about the effect of family violence on children. She speaks with Amanda Harper about how important this issue is.
Last year in 2013, 250 cases were reported to local police. Now those cases involved around 110 of those cases involved alcohol, and unfortunately around 250 kids were involved, so it's quite a serious issue. We know that it's even more serious than that because 20% of family violence is reported to the police. So actually there's a whole lot more there that is never reported.
So it's only 20% are reported?
That's right. It's only a small number.
And are the numbers of reported family violence incidences increasing? Is that a good thing?
Well, each year we do see an increase in reports of family violence, and we consider that to be a positive thing. Family violence for a number of years has been something people have kept very quiet, and it's been under the carpet of society for a long time. Things like the It's Not Okay campaign really help to bring it out into the open and let people know it's okay to ask for help and it's okay to report it when you hear it.
And what factors contribute to family violence, to domestic violence?
What we know from research is that countries where there is equality between the sexes, there are much lower rates of family violence. We also know that countries and cultures where there's a strong male dominance and power is expressed in power over other people, that there are higher rates of family violence. So we know that the culture that people live in has a lot to do with the incident rates. Unfortunately, we can't say that alcohol or poverty causes family violence, but we do know that this is also a trigger. So, there's a lot of different instances or situations around family violence.
And how do you define family violence or domestic violence?
So family violence is violence between people who have a close domestic relationship. So that could be anybody who is a flatmate, a partner, a boyfriend and girlfriend, same-sex couples, civil union couples, partners and ex-partners, even between children and their parents. What we know about family violence is that it includes physical violence, which people commonly refer to as the bash or some kind of slapping or kicking or punching, but it's not limited to that. Family violence also includes psychological abuse, that's putting people down, it's using intimidation and threats. It also includes sexual violence, and that's any kind of sexual thing that's forced on another person. And recently the law has changed to include financial abuse as well. And this could be stopping somebody from going to get work, it might be limiting their financial options, or even stopping them getting education. So it's about controlling another person. It's about having power over another person.
Okay, that was really well said. Now, what group in society, be it an age group, is most affected by domestic violence?
So what we know about domestic violence is it happens in all cultures across all socioeconomic groups. It's not something that just affects one ethnic group either. It's in every ethnic group in New Zealand. What we know is the 16 to 25-year-olds are at risk of the most domestic violence, but it is something that can happen throughout the lifespan and can even run into elder abuse when somebody becomes an older person as well. So all the way from birth until death, unfortunately, this is something that affects many, many people.
Why do you think it is the 16 to 25 age group?
That particular age group, I'm not exactly sure. In research, it talks about there being the influence of drugs and alcohol. There's a number of reasons, I guess, but nothing that comes to mind.
It's hard to really define.
Yeah.
Now, how wide does Aroha in Action reach?
Okay, so Aroha in Action is a campaign that we're running in Thames, in the Thames Coromandel District region, and it is all about mobilising the community to work towards a violence-free Thames. And we're really excited because Aroha in Action is covering the Thames Community Board District, and that's from Hikataya, which is close to Paeroa, all the way up the coast to Wilson's Bay before you get to Coromandel. And we've got some amazing people involved, so it's exciting.
And what exactly are you doing to sort of improve the situation?
Sure. So Aroha in Action is a campaign to raise awareness about the effect of alcohol-fuelled family violence on the kids of Thames. So it's very specific. What we know is when we understand how children are affected by family violence, and all children are affected by family violence, then that's one of our main motivators for us adults to do something differently. So we're concentrating on kids because we want to break that cycle and because we want everybody to think about the future of Thames and what we want for our own community. It's really exciting. It follows on the tail of the It's Not Okay in Paeroa campaign, where we had around 30 different champions there, all working to make Paeroa safer. And we've got 30 awesome champions in Thames who are going to be doing the same thing.
Can you tell us who they are?
We can't tell you just yet. We're really excited about who they are. They've been undergoing their training at the moment. They're starting their own projects as well, and they're a pretty amazing group of people.
So what is their role? What do they do?
So our champions will be on billboards and posters around the town for the period of the campaign. The campaign runs from mid-November to the beginning of February next year, and our wonderful champions are involved in community groups doing projects, different events. They are on posters and billboards and magnets, and they're getting involved in all aspects of the community. They've been chosen from each of the different subsections of our community, so they are far and wide. They're really awesome everyday people who want to make a difference.
Yeah. And will there be recognisable faces? Are we talking like celebrities or sports stars or anything like that?
So some of our champions are more well known in our community. Where our main focus is really about everyday people making the difference, because sports stars are really great, celebrities are really great to stand up and say it's not okay, but what we know is the everyday people who we approach when we're having an issue. So research shows that only 16% of us front up to a social service to ask for help, and the rest of us tell our friends and family and community members that we feel safe with. So our goal is to get those community members trained and supported enough to respond in a great way which can really change a community.
You mentioned that the campaign runs until next year. Now you've got an actual special event coming up this month. What is that? Tell me about that.
So we launch on the 16th of November at an event that we're calling the Big Day Out. Now Big Day Out is going to be held in Victoria Park in Thames, and it's a beautiful park by the sea. It has pohutukawa trees all through it and they should be flowering. And this launch day is when we announce who the champions are. But alongside that, we're providing a free fun day for the community, and this involves food like mussel fritters and Greek food and fruit kebabs and sausages, but it also involves music and events and activities and games, and we've even got a free photo booth so you can come and get your photo taken and take a keepsake home with you. So lots of fun things like horizontal bungees. It's about getting out and having a great time with your community and meeting the people behind the services in the town. So we're really excited.
And it's all free, like the food is free, the mussel fritters are free?
Everything's free for that day, all the activities, all the food. So it's about getting the community out to play together, because it builds healthy, safe relationships if you can connect. So we're really excited.
The Big Day event is on Sunday the 16th of November in Victoria Park in Thames Free food, free entertainment, free activities, and all for a great cause. Make sure you get along. After the break, penguins under threat by domestic cats. Penguins under threat by domestic cats.
Yeah, well, because we're so close to all the houses, and cats can travel quite large distances. So at night time we do have a few domestic cats that come to the island and wreak a bit of havoc amongst our ground nesting birds here. So part of the Trust's goal is to hopefully raise a bit of education, raise a bit of awareness and educate the locals that of just actually what their cat's getting up to at night. Most people probably have no idea how far their cat travels at night, and as there's no houses directly across the road here, they might think that it's not their cat doing it, but they can travel long distances. So we've lost about 30 to 40 diving petrels alone in the last few weeks just from cats visiting the island late at night. And the only thing we can really, they are domestic pets, so somebody loves them. I've got my own cat, I love my cat. So really it's just a case of trying to encourage people to maybe keep it locked up inside at night. Most of your cat fights happen at night. Your cat's most likely to get run over on the road at night. The other issue with Moturiki or Leisure Island, as the locals know it, is that there is with all the penguins and the ground nesting birds here, there's actually a lot of diseases here as well. Seals carry lots of diseases that can be caught by humans, we all know that, but penguins and ground nesting birds also carry a lot of ticks and lice, and it's quite a problem on this island. So to bring your dog or your cat here, you're also risking them not only getting something like a problem with ticks and that, but also if they put their head into a hole and there's a penguin or a petrel in there, they will defend themselves, they will peck at their face, and in return that beautiful pet will fight back. So it's sort of protecting both of them as well. Your dog's at risk of losing an eye. So it's not just cats that are an issue here, it's also with the dogs. Penguins are very smelly. A lot of our native birds carry things like strong smells. They also don't have the flight reaction, because penguins don't fly, for example, but the petrels, they can't take off like a normal bird, so they're at huge risk, especially from dogs and cats, because they don't have the ability to just suddenly fly away. That makes them very vulnerable, and that's why there is very few places left on the mainland that you're actually able to see these birds. So with the dog owners, it is a dog-free area, and it has been for many years. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't sort of realise that. So we'd also like to raise awareness about that pretty much the whole of Tauranga you can take your dog for a walk, and there's only about 3 or 4 places you're not allowed to, and this is one of them, and this place is special. It's dog-free for a reason. It's not just because, we're being mean. It's dog-free zone purely to protect our native birds and also to protect your dog as well.
Are there any birds that have actually deserted the mount because of the predators there?
Well, without science studies, it's hard to tell whether they've actually been all not here because they were all killed by the pests, or whether they have actually decided to desert. So most of these birds are very monogamous when it comes to their burrows. They'll come to the same burrow every year, and they have a very good home instinct. So you can't just take these birds and go stick them on an island over there, because they'll just fly back. So it's assumed that the other species that bred here, these local populations died out, but there is a few that may have deserted, like the dotterels, may have actually deserted and moved to a less pest-ridden area in order to do that. So we've definitely lost a lot, yeah.
And how can the general public help our wildlife in the mount?
Just knowing they're there, just being aware that keeping your dogs away from the dog-free zones, if you're local, to keep your cat locked in at night, and also just things like rubbish, stuff like that. Everything that you put out, leave on the beach, ends up under the rocks and things like that. We have a huge issue with bottles being shoved under rocks, especially around Moturiki Island and around Moau, and what that actually does is it's blocking burrows, so it's actually you end up with a penguin inside or chicks inside and a penguin outside that can't get to their chicks and feed them. So that's a huge issue. Just being aware, take your rubbish with you, and if you see someone with a dog, just maybe mention, hey, did you know it's a dog-free zone? They may not know, and most people aren't aware of it. So when you approach them and tell them, do you know it's a dog-free zone, they're quite happy when you explain to them why to take their dogs and not come back again. So that's pretty much, the locals can get involved, and also by joining our trust, Moel Area Wildlife Trust, where the more funds we have, the more we can help with pest control and help raise public awareness and things like that as well.
Right, now for our weather. Marine forecast for Wednesday now. Central News is your news, so email us or like us on Facebook and let us know what is happening in your community or about an upcoming event.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.